Today, 16 of Australia's finest show jumpers will take centre stage in a very different type of championship. 4 teams, 32 horses and 6 events. All to find out just who will answer the Champions Challenge for 1996. Hello and welcome to Waratah Stadium in Sydney for the first of 2 equestrian specials on the Champions Challenge show jumping. Of course, this venue is better known for its association with rugby union, but today it's been transformed into a stage for some of Australia's leading equestrian talent. As mentioned, this championship will host 16 riders divided into 4 teams. So let's take a look at those lineups now. First up, the Olympic team, headed by 3-time Olympian Vicky Roycroft. Alongside her, fellow Atlanta representatives David Cooper, Russell Johnston and Jenny Parledley. The Coltsall male team is anchored by dual Olympians George Sanner and John Fay. They'll be joined by brothers Jeremy and Andrew Inglis. In gold, the fillies team are captained by the popular Colleen Brooke. With her, Chrissy Harris, Liz Grender and Gail Powell. And representing the young guns, the up-and-comers of the equestrian world, Melissa Frosch, Edwina Alexander, James Patterson Robinson and Damien Guthrie. Yes, many of Australia's leading show jumping talent. And joining us in commentary over the 2 programs will be expert Colin Turner. And Colin, riders in this championship will have to take part in 6 very different types of events. Just what should viewers expect to see?
Our viewers on ABC, Karen, can look forward to some very exciting sport. I can tell you that a lot of the riders are very excited about it because it's the first time that a lot of them will have to compete as a member of a team. Now, they go away as Nation Cup members and they compete for the country, but this is the first time when we have a Champions Challenge. It's going to be very exciting. I'll tell you that some of our viewers will be hanging on to the edge of their seats because it's power, it's speed and a lot of excitement.
Thanks, Colin. We look forward to it. Well, to the first of our events now, named the Concord Test, where speed and accuracy is the key here. Teams' total times will determine their final rankings. And joining Colin in commentary will be ABC's Bridget Gilly.
Thanks, Karen. Yes, there are 14 efforts all up in the first of what should be a very exciting schedule of jumping events here at the Champions Challenge. A beautiful arena, and the Concord Test includes 10 jumps, a treble and a double. First up for the Olympians, it's the woman from the first family of Australian equestrian, Vicky Roycroft, riding Silky Oak.
Yes, indeed, Bridget, and a difficult task for Vicky here because, as you say, she's got a big course ahead of her and she's got to set the pattern for the rest of them. There's 1 or 2 tricky little jumps in there. The first one won't be a problem because it's just a vertical, and we can see her pop over that.
Riders riding against the clock here. They have a total time of 88 seconds to complete the course. I would hope that most of them will get round in that.
Well, she's taken the top hole out of the Pirelli gate, and she's got to turn and try and get the horse balanced again over 3. Now down to jump number 4. Rattled that a little bit.
Just a little bit lazy on his jumping, not lifting.
Yeah,
front leg.
Silky Oak, he's only a young horse. She's an 8-year-old mare, and she was bred at home, a C grade. Rattled both parts of 6 or 5, got in close to the top and got back out again.
He's approaching the treble.
Yeah, this will have to be a good line. Got close to the back part of that front part of it. Rattled both. They stayed in the cup. Down to this little fence, number 9. Pops out over that. That's not a very big fence. Now she's got to come back with a bounce. Does that very nicely. Did take a pull back as she had to because it looks as if Silky Oak wants to run on a little bit, Bridget.
Yes, Vicky Roycroft, the 3-time Olympian, the first woman, in fact, ever to represent Australia at the Olympic Games. And she's got a long list of international success.
Yes, she got close to 1 or 2 of them. She won't be too happy about that.
She's completed the course within the time allowed. So just the 1 fence down for Vicky Roycroft, kicking off the Concord Test in the Champions Challenge. Russell Johnston now on the course with a very excited Southern Eagle. He looks like he wants to fly like an eagle.
Yes, a little bit of a horse, like, as you say, fly like an eagle. He's a thoroughbred, and it'll be interesting to see how Russell handles the 8-year-old. 16.2, pretty good, nice height for a thoroughbred, and was the national equestrian champion in 1996. Let's see how he attacks this course.
It's a very attractive looking horse. Southern Eagle.
But the one thing here, Bridget, is, of course, that Russell is now starting to think of the faults that the others have had before him, and because this is a team competition, those of you watching ABC at home will realize that he has now got to try and make up time, try to complete this course as fast as possible without having a fence down. So that's basically his target out there. That's what he's thinking. I've got to run on and chase things here.
Yes, it is very difficult. Also, if he does have a fence down at all, he'll incur a 4-second time penalty. So fences and time both matter.
Very important, and even though Russell has won 2 good grades down at the Geelong show in Victoria recently, the horse, as we can see out there, is pretty frisky, wants to get on with it. Down to the treble. First part of that. Vertical Oxer, second part, Oxer out. So he did that very nicely. Out over 9. Now to this bounce fence.
This will test him.
Got close to the top of that. You seem to like that one, Bridget. You want things to happen there.
It is very exciting. The horses don't get to take a stride in between, but a great round there from Russell Johnson on the very excitable Southern Eagle. So the Olympic team, the Olympians, complete the Corps de Vitesse. George Sanner on Dundee, also a very experienced rider, one of Australia's top show jumpers, represented Australia in 2 Olympic Games.
A 7-year-old black gelding, and George riding this one, and of course has to do a little bit of work on this one. Well, he got close to the that little one. Some of these are very tricky little fences, Bridget. They're 4-3 on one side, they're 3-6 on the other. Sometimes the rider will decide to go straight down the middle, or they can jump off an angle, take the high side, which would be 4'6", or 40 meters. Here he is at the treble.
And well done over the treble.
Did very well over the treble.
So just the 1 bar down at the double. George almost looks a bit of a giant on the horse there, Mr. Dundee, but he's getting him over.
Yeah, I think he had to nurse him a little bit, Bridget, around that course. It is a big track. There's no doubting about it. It's a magnificent arena for the event, but at the same time, George, taking care of the 7-year-old, doesn't want to run into any trouble.
Elizabeth Grenda riding T-Bar Red Baron for the Phillies team in the gold. The team of Elizabeth, Gail Powell, Chrissy Harris and Colleen Brooks. Elizabeth has drawn first.
Yes, she's done pretty well. This horse is inclined to chase on a little bit, and Elizabeth will have to sort of take a pull halfway around the course, because, as I said, it's a big track for them. And let's see how he handles it. Got too close to the front part of the double. Got well out over 6.
A lot of experience, the Grey Baron, if we could call him that. He's 18 years old, and in fact is a stock horse. She urges him over that first part of the treble and goes clean.
Those of you watching our coverage at home will realize that Elizabeth has to pull the Red Baron's head up very, very quick. Let's see it here again. Over. She has to pull him up a little bit, give him a look at the fence. When she has given him a look, she's got to he's inclined to keep his head down a bit.
In the time allowed for Elizabeth Grinder and T-Bar Red Baron. Team captain for the fillies, Colleen Book, riding Rockin' Eddie. And you'll notice he's wearing those ear guards just to keep out a little bit of the crowd noise and distractions that some of these horses might face.
And sometimes it can block out the wind as well if you're riding in an arena where there's a certain amount of wind blowing through. So it keeps the horse comfortable, and that's exactly what Colleen will do here. She's a very experienced rider. And Rocking Eddie, a 9-year-old, 3/4 thoroughbred, and was bred down at Double. And the other quarter is a warm blood, but a very good jumper indeed, and a great future for this combination. I can tell you, Bridget, look out Olympics some 3 years' time.
Yes, Colleen's had a lot of experience internationally and success. She won 3 consecutive international Grand Prix in Europe and taking it round very calmly, very collected.
Yeah, she's placing him magnificently. Now again turns very, very wide to come back and take that fence. Now she can leave it a little bit free and run down to the first part of that treble, well out over that, got close to the second part, close to the third part, but well clear, didn't touch anything, now to fence 9. So this is a nice, very, very comfortable round for Colleen. She did well at the bounce fence as well.
Yes, that sets a good example as to how to actually take that bounce fence with no stride in between. Clear round.
That's a great round.
So Colleen Book and Rockin' Eddie go clear. Next rider for the fillies team in gold, Chrissy Harris. She's on board Waltzing Matilda.
Yeah, she's an 8-year-old mare, 16-2. And I can tell you, Bridget, was bought out of the paddock. At one stage, someone had the intention of running this horse in the Melbourne Cup.
Chrissy, 32-year-old.
As you can see, she's a very big mare, 16-2. So Chrissy will have her running on nicely, especially for the double and the treble, because for a horse like that, you need to give them a bit of room. Just going to take it very easy. Went over the high part of fence number 3, which is at 1 meter 30. Came into that at an angle, but she did very well. Just a little check.
And the combination fences really test these bigger horses.
Yes, they do. You can see the back legs came down on the pole at that, but it stayed there.
In fact, it's just dropped off now.
Has it?
Yeah, the second part
dropped.
of the double's dropped off, so just the one jumping fault so far for Chrissy and Waltzing Matilda. The treble now.
Well, she did that very nicely. As you can see, Waltzing Matilda wanted to run on, and she wanted to run on at 9, and she flew over that.
I think there was a fair bit of daylight between the fence there and Waltzing Matilda. Just gets over the bounce.
Look out, Sydney Airport.
And over the line. So just the one jumping fault, a little bit unlucky. The back part of the double dropping off for Chrissy Harris and Waltzing Matilda. Gail Powell, what an amazing story. She's riding Yabba Dabba Doo, but Colin Turner, she's given birth not so long ago.
Yeah, she had a son about 6-8 weeks ago now, young Jake. And Gail, one of our great riders, I've known her a long time because she has competed internationally around the world. Had a sort of a tragic accident a couple of years ago, Bridget, when a horse box that she was driving caught fire, and one of the horses, the other horse that she rides, Rockstar, was actually taken out of the box, and the side of the horse got burned and singed. But she was very lucky to recover from that. Unfortunately, 1 or 2 events that I've commentated on, Gail has come unstuck and took a nasty fall at one event in Queensland recently.
Well, she's going well so far here. Yabba Dabba Doo in the warm-up enclosure was looking very testy, but she's looking quite calm here and going over nicely.
Well, I'll tell you something about this one. Well, let's see what it does with the treble. Well out over that. I can tell you that Yabba Dabba Doo is a 10-year-old, as I said, but nobody, it's a complete reject. Nobody wants to ride it, and the only person that can ride it actually is Gail. If you or I or anyone else there, even Vicky Rycroft, went in there to ride it, wouldn't allow anyone else to ride it. Strange horse.
Definitely performing for her here today.
Yep.
The final competitor in the fillies. Oh, what a shame.
See, the commentator's curse. You said she was going well and done again.
Now the young riders, captained by Melissa Frosch on Akona, and Melissa really a fantastic prospect for Australian show jumping, just 19 years old.
Oh, yes, Bridget, I'll tell you that you can mark this down at home. This lady, she's 19 years of age, Melissa Frosch, magnificent hands on a horse. This horse that she's riding, Akona's 14-year-old mare, and she calls it grey. I said to her the other night it was white, but we have to agree to disagree. But going well, running on for her at the moment. But she certainly wants to look out for come the Olympics in the year 2000 in Sydney.
Yep, 6 and over. Just her approach on that double was a little bit shaky. She got over clean.
The great thing about jumping at this age, Bridget, is that you don't seem to have a care in the world, and Melissa out there doesn't. You know, she and the horse are a combination. They're a complete unit, jumping magnificently over the treble there.
Yes, no fear. After giving him a little whip over the final part of the treble and the bounce.
Oh, she does that magnificently, running on to the last.
Just steadies him for the last. Over. And a quick time, too, for Melissa Frosch and Akona. Fantastic round for them. The young riders, they like speed and height. And they could give these older, experienced riders a bit of a run for their money here today. Second rider for the young riders, Edwina Alexander from Sydney on Samsara.
Yes, she's 22 years of age, and you know a great deal about this lady, don't you, Bridget?
She's a very good personal trainer.
Yeah, she's your personal trainer. And she's riding since she was 8 years of age, and she's done well through the pony club. Sansara is an 8-year-old thoroughbred mare, and is a B grade, coming on nicely according to Edwina, and jumping well. And you can see, slipped a little bit. Must mention about the track here. It is magnificent condition, but they did water it a little because it was very hard.
That's just a little bit in her keenness, trying to get around quickly. Still clear though, giving it plenty of speed.
Well, as you said earlier on, Bridget, you know, these young colts, they're going to go for it. They're going to put it up to the experienced one. They say we're around, as we saw earlier on, and Edwina's doing exactly the same as her captain did. Well out over the first part of that treble, got close to the second, and it stayed there. It's rocking and rolling as she moves away from it. Out over fence 9, now to the bounce fence, and she's run, take a long, wide loop at that. Oh, took it too narrow and too sharp in the end.
So just the one fence down so far for Edwina Alexander. And final fence clear. So she'll incur the 4 seconds time penalty. Edwina Alexander and Samsara. Just taking a look at the bounce, and she's just a bit lazy there over the first part of it. Damien Guthrie, the New South Wales Young Rider of the Year, is up next. He's riding Boss Your Uncle, and another up-and-comer in the show jumping world, in the equestrian world in Australia.
I'll tell you this much, he frightens me a little bit, Bridget, Damien, because he has done so much in show jumping already, and he's only 21 years of age. He had a bit of a run out there, so that's going to cost him time on the clock. Bob's Your Uncle is an 8-year-old bay gelding. Again, Pip, his mother, Damien's mum, tells me that no one else can ride this horse. He's 17-2, and he won the Futurity with him. But a little bit headstrong, the horse. Will only jump for Damien, but Damien, as I said, has won a lot of prizes and did very well when he represented Australia in Johor and up in Malaysia. Finished second up there. Done very well over the treble there. Now to this little narrow fence.
Yes, the treble doesn't seem to have given too many riders too much trouble so far.
No, I think you've got to give credit to the course designer here, John Valance from Melbourne. He's actually positioned it perfectly, and they do have just about enough time. If you go into it all wrong, you can make mistakes, but they haven't.
So Damien Guthrie and Boss Your Uncle with one run out and a rail down. James Patterson Robinson, the final competitor for the young riders in the Corps de Vitesse, riding Tabara Sundance. Quite a small mare.
She's a tiny little mare, Bridget, but she can really jump, I can tell you. Just watch her. Look at that for a quick turn. Now he goes through the bounce fence to come on to that. He was trying to make up speed, make it up on the clock for the mistakes the others had made, but he's now had the rail down there.
Well, this is certainly the type of horse you want around those speed courses, which we're going to see coming up a little bit later.
He's trying to beat Nick Doohan, I think. Watch him on the treble here. This is going to be exciting. Hold on to your seats. She's going to jump for him. She does reaches for everything and got there.
And the crowd love these smaller horses that really give their all.
She is.
Smaller horses that some of the biggest hearts, I dare say.
She's really run on, and that's been delightful in the bounce fence as well. He was able to pull her back and slow her down. And done well.
And over they go. James Patterson Robinson and Tabara Sundance with just one rail down at fence 4, so that completes the competition on the Corps de Vitesse for the young riders.
Let's take a look at that exciting treble. The first part, magnificent leap by the little mare, and she stood back off the third part and well got out over that. Magnificent jumping.
I'm pretty happy with that. We were off to a good start, so that's amazing.
A clear round for you also must give you some confidence getting that first event out of the way.
Yes, it's a good start, especially with the clear round.
Tell us about your horse, Alona.
Alona, she's an A-grade show jumper. She's actually a Clydesdale cross. She's 16 hands, and as you can see, she was grey once, but now she's white.
Tell us a little bit about the tournament that we're seeing here today, because it isn't your traditional show jumping format with the 6 different disciplines to contest. Do you like that type of style?
Yes, it's good to have all different kind of events, and it's a lovely arena that it's held in. We've never done anything like this before, and hopefully it will help the sport go on.
You'll be pretty confident now with the 5 remaining events to contest.
If we go as good as we did in the first, we should be right.
Yes, what a way for Melissa Frosch and the young riders to start this competition. They lead after Class 1, the Corps de Vitesse on 6 points, followed by the fillies on 4, colts on 2, and surprise, surprise, the Olympians yet to score.
The next event is always a crowd favourite, the team top score, where again all 4 riders in each team compete and against the clock. Each team has 3 minutes in which to jump as many fences as possible, and each fence here has been allocated a certain amount of points. So, in the end, it will be the team that can collect the most amount of points for cleanly jumped fences that will be designated the winner. It doesn't sound too bad, but there are some catches, and to fill us in on those, here again is Colin Turner and Bridget Philly.
Thanks, Karen. Well, one of the biggest catches of this event, the team top score, is in fact the Joker fence, and it's worth 200 points, but I don't know, Colin Turner, if any of the riders will be laughing as they negotiate that fence.
There'll be no joke about it, I can tell you, Bridget. It's going to be a very demanding course, but our viewers on the ABC, I would suggest that at home you hang on to your seats, because anything and everything will happen out there. They'll have to go for it, and as we'll explain to you that there's 4 riders to go, each of them with different times, but it'll be very, very exciting, and you can see there in your screen Vicky Rycroft planning the whole campaign out there. It's going to be exciting, Bridget.
Yes, the first rider will have 60 seconds to complete the course, the second 50 seconds, the third 40 seconds, and the fourth 30 seconds. And basically they can jump any fence they like. Each fence is worth a certain amount of points, and it's the total team aggregate, or the total team points, that they'll carry on. David Cooper is the first rider for the Olympic team on red sails. And coming into this event, the Olympic team are surprisingly yet to get on the board.
Yes, that was a bit of a shock to them after the first event, but David, a professional equestrian, he's 25 years of age. Let's see how he attacks. Some of the fences are worth 110 points, others worth 60, 40, 10, and that one, the little one, is actually worth 10 points. So he's got 10 points on the board so far. And as I said, all of them different degree of height, different angle, and of course worth so many points. That's the Joker, and he's cleared that first go. Now he can go back and jump that, and they can of course jump a fence twice. They can jump it from the same side, or they can jump it backwards if they wish, because it will still add up points. So it's going to be exciting, Bridget. Here he goes back to the Joker again.
And the Joker is in fact the only fence on the course that can be rebuilt. So that if David Cooper here knocks down one of the other fences, such as number 11, which he's going for now, well, his team members now cannot jump that when they come to compete. So it's a very tactical sort of ride that they have to go for here, especially if you're the first rider.
And he's also going to have to watch the clock, because he can't go over on the clock, and he's got to be able to pass over to the second rider. So he's coming down to take one or two of these little fences. There's the sign. He's got to race through the finish now.
Yes, he must tag Vicky Roycroft, who will be the next competitor.
Now she goes.
She's away. She's riding True Colours.
And you can see the line that Vicky took. She was coming right behind him, so they had planned beforehand what he would exactly do and where he would finish.
She's gone for the Joker, and so far, that 200-point fence is looking all right for some of these competitors.
Well, Vicky got a little bit close to it, I can tell you. There was a bit of a rattle. We all heard it.
Number 12's a tough one too. She's over.
Back for the Joker, and she had to reach for that, but she got away with it. Now she comes down to the end of the arena. The clock is running down, of course, on Vicky.
And there it goes for her. She'll tag for Jenny Parlevet, riding... In fact, it's Russell Johnson. He's riding take two.
So Russell will have to go and try and set a pace, not alone a pace, but a standard for everyone else to jump. And he's in there having a go on... didn't he get close to the top of that Joker? I don't know whether he's going to go back for it. He is. He's going to go back from this side. And he cleared that as well. That's good jumping by Russell Johnson and the little horse. Look at the pole on that one. It's rocking in the cups, but it stayed there.
And standing by to go through is Jenny Parlevet on another flood.
Well,
so the Olympic team clicking up the points here.
Yeah, they're picking up the points. They're very clever at this, but this, of course, is an event that is performed at show jumping and equestrian events all over the world. The Joker for Jenny, she got up to that. She's going to turn back and go for it again. She's going to try and add up the points here. Problem is, if she has it down, he'll be in big trouble. And there's the time gone. She won't get that last one.
That won't be included. So as she bolts to the finish line, the Olympian team in the red complete the team top score. George Sanner for the Colts team, riding Nonix-Glare Park. He's the captain of the Colts team and a very accomplished rider. Be interesting to see, Colin, whether the experience or the guts of the young riders comes through a little bit later on, or whether the tactical experience of the more experienced riders and their background in show jumping gets them through.
It will be, and George is a very experienced rider, as you say. He's 43 years of age. This is an 8-year-old thoroughbred chestnut that he's on. They can clip around, and George has competed in this type of event before, so he has a lot of experience. The experience of his team will count, but of course they're under pressure at the moment, so anything could happen.
George has 60 seconds to go round before he'll tag for Jeremy Inglis.
He's got to get down to the Joker. He's also got to get this near this fence, which will give him 110 points, and he's cleared that. Now to the Joker, worth 200 points. Clears that. He could double back and take that. He's going back around again for the 110, but he wants to pop in a little one that'll be worth 60 points to him. Back to the 110 fence again. Back to the Joker. This is a very familiar course planned out by George, but he's taking it down.
So he'll lose 200 points.
So that's a bit of a blow to the experienced riders here.
And the score on your screen there is, in fact, the cumulative score of the team. So each time a fence is knocked down or cleared, the score will be added or deleted from that mark. George and Non-Exeter Park currently 670, and that's the end of his round, so he'll tag through for Jeremy Inglis.
Well, George will be not too happy with that round, Bridget, I can tell you, but Jeremy can start by knocking up the points there. He's put up 100 already, 70, so he can drive up the points total.
Jeremy's riding Southern Jester, and that fence down means that none of his teammates will be able to jump over that fence when their turn comes. Here he goes for the Joker.
Well, he got a bit close to that, but got away with it. But he has to turn and come back, and his time is going to run out on him. But he should clear the Joker again. He's come very, very wide. Whether he has enough time to get up there and get over it, push on. He didn't. He's taken it down.
Well, that's the risk they take.
Yep.
He had that time. He had that pressure. He had 200 points there, possibly to clear, but he brings it down. So...
yeah, he did have to push on there, Bridget, because the minute he landed on the other side, the buzzer went, so he didn't have a lot of time, and that's why he had to push on, and that's why he brought it down.
And the buzzer went to his brother, Andrew, riding Close Encounters, who just successfully cleared the Joker fence for 200 points.
Well, his team have already had a few close encounters. Andrew doesn't want any in here, but he's run very wide, and they're gone up to 1,600 points, over 1,600. But they need the Joker. They need a Joker twice. But there's the... no, he won't get that, will he? No.
Just needed to push on a little bit there. They really need to keep their eyes on the clock. Keep a good idea of what fences they're going to do. Do they plan before they get into the arena exactly what they're going to do?
Oh, yes, they do.
Run around jumping them willy-nilly, as they say.
Yes, they do. And here's a man with a clock in his brain, I can tell you. John Fay has no problems about clocking. He knows exactly where everything is. And he'll turn and come back again up for that one. There you are. He got it nicely as well.
So through the finish line goes John Fay and Tony Barlow-Lewis. A total of 2,640 points, and that completes the Colts round in the team top score.
Yeah.
Hello there to Flying High, and on board him is Elizabeth Grender for the Phillies team in the team top score. The score to beat is 3,210, which the Olympians totaled in their round.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Bridget. Elizabeth Grenda out there is the ideal person to have, because when Elizabeth is not on the back of a horse, she's actually a qualified accountant. She'd be able to add up all of those figures out there.
She's probably had the team out the back working out exactly what's going to go on.
Got a calculator in her head. But this fence in the middle, the Joker fence, and the way that John Valance has built the course, pushed the point-scoring fences away to each side of the arena, is very clever. He's put 110 at one end, 120 at another, an 80 fence, which she's cleared already. Now she comes up 170, and she's cleared that one. Now to the Joker.
200 points on offer, and she'll take them. Thank you very much.
She's gone back down again to the far end of the arena. So she's tracked out a very nice course there. She's got another 90 on the clock. Pops over that little one, which has earned her a fair few points. The big one now back for the Joker again, and she's doing well on the clock. She's got to push it a bit. Got over that. Will she have time to get another one in? Maybe she will. She's going to pop sideways to the Pirelli upright.
70 points up there to 1,050 for the Phillies, and getting ready to start because the time's just about up. Colleen Brook, and just has that one down. So ending on not such a good note, Elizabeth Grender, but now on course is Colleen Brook on top flight.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Colleen stayed across this side of the arena where she is at the moment and come back for the Joker and go back again. She got close to the top of the Joker. It rattled a bit. Now she's going to come back for it. That's what I was thinking she would do. She's cleared that now. She'll go back again where she started from and pick up a lot of points on that side of the arena. That's a clever maneuver by this team, I can tell you, Bridget.
Colleen Brook has been there and done that. She knows about show jumping at the top level. 120 for that fence, the big yellow, and she's going back for it. Interesting move. You haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, that was a very, very quick turn. She won't get that one.
So as the hooter goes, that will bring in Gail Powell on Yabba Dabba Doo.
Gail will just take it steady. Well, she's taken that 120 down. That's minus. She's got to, whether Gail will go for the, yeah, she's going to run around for the Joker. Knock that one as well.
Yes, that's unsettled her a little. She's had that down. But over the Joker for the 200, 2,420 points for the gold team.
Coming back for the Joker. Ooh, rattled it a bit. You could hear it on our effects microphone, but got away with it.
Stuck in there pretty hard, haven't they? And the hooter goes for her. She'll bring in the final rider for the gold team, Chrissy Harris, on Orchard Road.
Well, they're doing pretty well. They're up to 2,700. When you think that they... But there again, now you see where Chrissy has to take a pull there because that fence, which was worth 120 points, has gone down. Gail knocked that one down, so Chrissy has to turn and come back again, and she's taken that one out.
Well, it's lucky she's the final rider because she's knocked them all down. Well, not all of them, but she's not had a few down, so they won't be able to be re-jumped.
It started to fall apart for them down towards the end, but it was a good start for them and a good middle. The ending wasn't so good. Well, Melissa on Kona, the 14-year-old mare, 16 hands into that first fence. She pops over that. Now she's going to race up to take, she's got 70. She's going for the 120. She got a 70 and 90, 120, popped over that little one. She's going to come back for, she's taking a long run to the Joker fence. Let's see how she handles this. Oh, she did ask for a big one and she got it.
Well, that should boost her confidence. 500 points for Frost and the young riders.
She's going back again for it. Daredevil, 19-year-old, you're watching at home. Hang on to your seats for this one. She's really trying, really giving it everything she's got.
And over an 80-point fence, a quick turn. She's got very little time, a total of 60 seconds. A huge refusal there. And I think Kona just sort of thought, hang on, this is all going a bit fast for me, as the hooter goes.
Yes, instead of it being the Concord Oval, it was more like Eastern Creek for Melissa Frost.
She's tagged for Edwina Alexander. And Edwina is riding Samsara. So Edwina will not be able to jump, obviously. That fence is all over the ground. But,
that was worth the 90 points.
Yes, and they will not rebuild that fence. The only fence, as I mentioned, that can be rebuilt on this course, if it's knocked down, is the Joker, the 200-point fence, which is Edwina coming around for it now.
She's over the 120. She's cleared that one, but my prediction is out the window a little bit, Bridget.
Well, we've still got Damien Guthrie to come, who was in fact leading after the first class, the Corps de Vitesse. Edwina.
Taking that one down. She's got the time is she won't get that one. The clock went, or the buzzer went for the clock.
Damien Guthrie now riding AP options.
Damien is going for the Joker in the middle. Ran on very nicely to that, found a good stride off of that, and jumped it perfectly. He's coming back for it again. It's going to be how he positions himself on takeoff. Does it again nicely. Got right in a little bit closer that time, but came up very well. And the landing was good as well. It allowed him to run on.
And his time is up. So in for Guthrie comes James Patterson-Robertson. The team currently on 2,070 and add another 80 to that last fence.
Here's the Joker. Ooh, well.
Lucky.
Very lucky. He's got to push on if he's going to get anywhere near my score. He cleared that 120 coming back for the Joker. Got to get it right this time. He rattled it again. The ball actually rolled a couple of times in the cup, stayed there.
And that last fence, the 80 points will not be included. So James Patterson-Robinson completes the round for the young riders. Their score here, 2,670. Not quite near the 4,040 that you predicted.
No, I'm red-faced in the commentary box. I can tell the viewers at home.
Well, John, unfortunately, the Colts team, not the top team this time around, but some pretty stiff competition here.
Yes, very stiff, and it's a great competition. It's great to see the young riders going out there and daring and going well.
You certainly have the experience amongst the field. What's your thoughts on a competition format such as that we're seeing today?
I think it's very entertaining for the public, which is the most important thing, and the whole concept is a bit strange for the riders. But as a television attraction, I think it's quite interesting. I hope it goes very well.
Well, the 5 bar is coming up next. What's your approach going to be for that one?
Well, the horse I'm riding, I won the 6 bar at Brisbane Royal Show, his first ever 6 bar, so I can hope he can repeat it today.
So best of luck for that.
Thank you.
So at the completion of the team top score, John Fay's team, the Colts, still a little bit of work to do. After 2 classes in the Champions Challenge, the young riders and the fillies equal first place on 8 points, the Olympians on 6 and the Colts on 2.
Next up, we have what's called the 5 bar, simply a line of 5 fences set 2 strides apart. And while the course is simple, the fences are big, so as to test the sheer jumping power of each horse.
Yes, Karen, sheer jumping power is what's called for here, the 5 bar. And Colin Turner will have some of the stronger horses out for this one for the height. That's the most important thing.
Yes, indeed. It's all about power here, jumping those 5 fences. They're all in a straight line. There's about 2 strides between each of them, but there is a little bit of a tricky one, and that is coming off the 4th to the 5th. That could be a little bit of a problem because riders are inclined to chase on to get to the finish. So we'll just see what happens with the first couple that go.
Round 3 of the 5 bar competition. A maximum of 5 rounds in this. Russell Johnson coming through on Southern Eagle. And he'll have something extra special to jump for here because his teammate Jenny Parlavate has had to pull out this particular class, only to rest her horse another flood. She only brought the one horse, so he needs a bit of a rest coming into more competition.
Yes, indeed. Took a little bit of a knock when hitting one of those poles, so Jenny's done the right thing. Rest of the horse. This is Russell Cooper. Got into trouble at the 4th and cleared the 5th, but got close to it.
Yes, this is where we'll really see the horses sorted out, and he has the 4th fence down. George Sanner is the next competitor in round 3 of the 5 bar competition, the captain of the Colts team on Nonix Le Parc.
All the fences have now gone up again for this round, Bridget, so again, the big questions being asked of these power jumpers. George doing well.
This fence and the last, 6 foot, and over goes George. Fantastic round from him. All the experience in the world for George Sanner on Nonix Le Parc.
Let's take a look at him as he comes down the line. Perfect position from George and the horse, and well out over the last, and the crowd loved that.
Big test for Melissa Frost, the captain of the Young Riders. On a Kona, had a fantastic day so far in this competition.
Well, the crowd are loving it here because the 19-year-old is taking it to all of the experienced riders around on this 14-year-old mare. And the mare is giving everything for this young girl. There again, magnificent stuff. They love it. They just love that.
Kona and Melissa Frost clearing round 3 of the 5 bar. I think they're the crowd favourite here today.
That won't stay as it stay. Oh, yes, and still the one. This guy is so competitive.
So with Jenny Parlavate withdrawing from the 5 bar competition, the next rider is John Fay, riding Tony Barlow Extra. Jenny just electing to rest her horse another flood.
Yes, and John Fay knows that he has to pull out a little bit extra here, but he'll get it from this delightful horse. Does nice line down there and gets into the last and clears that as well. Lovely riding by John Fay.
The young riders giving a show here in the 5 bar competition. Edwina Alexander on Samsara.
Yeah, the 8-year-old thoroughbred mare is asked a big question here, especially the last two elements, Bridget, and the crowd are right behind this young team. She's done very well there. Oh, that's magnificent again.
A great showing from the young riders here at Concord. Edwina Alexander and Samsara through to round 4. Well, with Russell Johnston bowing out earlier and Jenny Parlavate pulling out of the competition, just the 5-bar competition, Vicky Roycroft has a lot on her shoulders, as does True Colours.
A big weight to carry, but they're well capable of it, Bridget. Let's see how this 18-year-old is going to handle these fences that John Valance has put up. Well, he's knocked the first one, and the last one is going to be a problem for her as well at 6 feet. Let's see what happens here. Slipped that, but got away with it.
Now, the first fence down, Vicky Roycroft. So she exits the 5-bar competition.
Let's see what she did here at the first. She came into it perfect and just got it, I think, with the back legs, just dragged it a bit.
Jeremy Inglis for the Colts team, riding Southern Jester.
Yes, Jeremy is asked a question in here as well with Southern Jester, even though, as I said, Jeremy is an experienced rider, been around a long time, but the heights are asking a big question here of these horses. 6-year-old B grade done well at the first part of though. The third part got close to it. Fourth part, here's the 5th. 6 feet, done well, got over it.
Big effort there. Big effort from Jeremy Inglis and Southern Jester. He'll go through now to round 4. AP options just a little bit testy for Damien Guthrie at the beginning of this round.
Yeah,
He'll
but
settle him into the second fence.
The 21-year-old has done very well up to now. And he got away with that as well.
Last one. But he's over safely. Well, the young riders are really sticking it to them here. Damien Guthrie through to round 4. Big smile on his face.
Let's take a look at this combination as they come down the line of these 5 fences. Lovely jumping from him. He's got the horse really going well, leaves the horse alone, doesn't do anything with it, up over the last. Oh, magnificent jump there.
Well, these fences at up around 6 foot are a close encounter. When you hit them, Andrew Inglis riding close encounters for the Colts team.
Yes, he's going to stake, as you can see already, he's taken the pull. He's not going to do any fiddling. He's going to just leave the horse, get over it. Close encounters, jumps the 4th part onto the 5th. That's a big jump, and he gets a big jump.
That was a big effort over the last one. He elected the slow approach, had a big look, and then just popped over.
Here he goes, right down the line in replay. Lovely jumping. He took it very cool coming into it, and a magnificent jump out over the last.
Chrissy Harris enjoying a good day so far on Orchard Road.
Yes, the 32-year-old with the 9-year-old thoroughbred stallion got close to the first one, got close to the second. It's going to be close all the way for Chrissy here. Fingers crossed now. The 4th part is gone. She jumped the last one, was unlucky.
I almost thought she was going to get round. She rattled them all away, but had the 4th down. So Chrissy Harris and Orchard Road will exit the competition. And we'll see him take the 3rd fence here. Just drops off. The Young Riders team has all their competitors left in this competition. I don't want to put the curse on him. That rail rattled on the 2nd, and James Patterson Robertson had the 3rd down and the 5th. So unlucky as his mount just gives a little buck there at the end. But still plenty of competitors left in this 5-bar competition. George Sanner on Nonexler Park. It'll need a big captain's knock from him here for the Colts team as we go through to round 4 of the 5-bar competition.
It certainly will, Bridget, and all of the fences gone up again, and the last one is at 1 meter 63. Big question asked of him here. Got away with it.
Experience counts for so much. George Senna, Nonixla Park. The 5 bars really turning into a competition of the young versus the experienced.
Yes, it is, and the crowd, Bridget, are right behind this young lady. She's 19 years of age, Melissa Frosch. Keep her name in your black book because she goes to the Olympics, but she won't win this because she's taken the second down. Last one, big question again from her, and answered.
What an effort, though, from Akona. A gutsy little mare. She had the second fence down, so Melissa Frosch and Akona will exit the 5-bar competition, and she's just a little bit frustrated with that as we see the fence down here.
Yeah, in slow motion. Nothing wrong. The horse just got, I think, a little bit excited going in and seeing it, took a look at it, and then you can see the back leg just dragged it out of the cup. She was very unlucky.
For the Colts, John Fay. George Sanner has already gone clear. Can Tony Barlow extra do it for John?
I'm thinking he can. If I was a betting man, I would back this man in anything. I'll tell you, this is an A-grade horse. John, you nearly left me down there. He rattled that second. He's knocked the 4th, and he's knocked the 5th. But there was my money. Went very quickly, didn't it?
Yes, well, at 1 meter 63, that 5th fence, he really didn't come anywhere near clearing that. And I think the knock on the 3rd, as we see here coming up, really rattled him.
Yeah, just pawed it out, and then the last never got himself set for the last.
And a big test here for Edwina Alexander. Samsara, her mount, taking a look at the course.
Yeah, an 8-year-old, and I must say that I've been very impressed at Edwina. This is my second look at her, and she just looks very, very comfortable up on the horse. Nice combination, these two. Horse jumps well for her. Got close to the second part, cleared the 3rd part, the 4th part, the 5th part. Oh, she was so unlucky there.
Fantastic effort for Edwina Alexander and Samsara.
She was so unlucky there, Bridget. She nearly got Samsara right for that last. Just flicked it out.
The rider up now, Jeremy Inglis on Southern Jester.
Yes, 6-year-old B-grade horse, the warm blood gelding, and it's done everything that Jeremy has asked the horse to do so far. But here is a bigger question. That last fence is 1 meter 63, and all the others have gone up. Let's see how he tackles it this time. Again, he's taking it very cool, very slow, getting right in there, powering up the legs, getting off, and into the last. Oh, yes, he's clear.
Well, he gave Southern Jester a really good look at each of those 5 jumps. He took it calmly and got himself over. He looks pretty calm too, Jeremy.
Let's take a look at him in replay. He did rattle this one, got close to it, but a magnificent jump off the last. Real power jumping there. Great round.
Young Rider of the Year, Damien Guthrie on AP Options.
Yes, I can tell you that his mum and his whole family will be watching this, sitting in the grandstand and around the country down at there on Monday. They'll be watching this round closely for the 21-year-old. He's studying an engineering degree down in the Oxford University area, but he's taken that second down. He's taken the 3rd down. Just a little bit too much of a question for his horse there.
Yes, you could see at the beginning he approached it a bit nervously and had the 3 fences down. So the young riders, Damien Guthrie, exit the 5-bar competition. It's a battle now of the Colts. The final competitor for round 4 of the 5-bar competition, Andrew Inglis on Close Encounters, and he'll be wanting to follow in his teammate George Sanner's footsteps, who's gone clear in this round 4.
He's had some great horses over the past year. This one is supposed to be a very good one as well. Let's see how he does. He's done well so far into the last 1 meter 63. Oh, that unfortunately is gone.
Well, he really caught that final fence, clipped the 3rd, but really dragged down the whole fence with his rear feet.
Let's take a look at it. He got off power jumps, got close to that one, but coming into the last, just too flat over it. He needed a little bit more height.
Well, George and Jeremy, congratulations on that. A good performance in the 5-bar.
Yes, thank you very much. It was, my horse has never done it before. Is yours?
I might have done it once as a young horse, but not as high as that.
I suppose that sort of begs the question, what do you think of the overall format here? Because it is a little bit different.
Well, just for that reason, you know, my horse has not competed in that sort of class before. You know, Grand Prix horses tend to avoid those sorts of classes, and yeah, I've found a new career for him anyway. It's good.
Jeremy, have you enjoyed the competition so far today?
Oh, yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've competitive format. It doesn't hurt to jump a few different things every now and then, once in a while. It's good for the horses and good for you.
But a lot of events still to go, halfway mark now, so still a lot to happen.
Well, the thing that's got to happen is we're going to win it. That's what's going to happen.
So with George Sanner and Jeremy Inglis of the Colts team going clear in the 4th round of the 5-bar class, that gave their team the maximum 6 points, so their total now is 8. They're equal with the Phillies and the Olympians, but out in front of everyone at the halfway point of the Champions Challenge, the young riders on 12.
Yes, a great start by the young guns, but still 3 events to go. And Colin Turner, your thoughts on the championship so far?
Well, they've really taken it to the experienced riders. They came into the arena unknowns. I can tell you they got the crowd right behind them, and it's all going to be up to the next 3 events. And I think, Karen, to be honest about it, it's going to be down to that final event, the top score.
Yeah, the Knockout Stakes is always a very good one, an exciting one. I hope you can join us for that next Sunday around the country between 6 and 7 o'clock to see just who will be crowned Champions Challenger of 1996. Until then, from all of us here at Waratah Stadium, thanks for your company. Bye for now.
They just love that.
And Melissa Prost, clear in round 3 of the 5-bar. I think they're the crowd favourite here today.
When we left you last week, it was Australia's Young Guns team leading the way at the Champions Challenge. Now, with just 3 events remaining, it can still be anyone's title. Action culminating in the excitement of the one-on-one knockout against the clock. So stay with us to see just who will best answer the Champions Challenge of 1996. Hello again and welcome to Waratah Stadium in Sydney for the second of our 2-part equestrian special on the Champions Challenge for 1996. 16 of Australia's leading male and female show jumpers are taking part, And at the halfway mark, it's the Young Guns team which leads the field out front as we take another look at the 4 teams in order of ranking. On top with 12 points, the Young Guns team, captained by Victoria's Melissa Frost. Alongside her, 1995 Australian Young Rider of the Year, Edwina Alexander, James Patterson Robinson and Damien Guthrie. Behind them, all on 8 points, the remaining 3 teams. The Olympic lineup headed by 3-time Olympian Vicky Roycroft, with fellow Atlanta riders David Cooper, Russell Johnston and Jenny Parlivlee. The Cold Sore male team is anchored by dual Olympians George Sanner and John Fay. They're joined by brothers Jeremy and Andrew Inglis. And in gold, the Phillies team, captained by New South Wales' Colleen Brooks. With her, Chrissy Harris, Liz Grender and Gail Powell. Joining us again in commentary is Colin Turner. And Colin, your thoughts at the halfway stage of this championship with the Young Guns out in front?
Yeah, I think they may stay there, Karen, after the first event, the Grand Prix event, but I think it'll all depend a great deal on how they perform in the power and speed. It means one rider has to go over that power course, the other over the speed course, and I think that would be the big event for them. Down to the last one, the knockout stakes, if they can go well in that, they'd bring the roof down here.
All right, well, let's go to that first event now, the classic Grand Prix show jumping format, where all riders will take part in round 1, and then only the top 6 will progress through to the jump-off against the clock. And joining Colin in commentary again is ABC's Bridget Chilly.
Thanks, Karen. Yes, I guess this Grand Prix event is what you'd call show jumping in its purest form, at least the most traditional format. 10 fences in all, and every rider will compete in round 1, then go through to the jump-off, the top 6 riders going through to the jump-off. For the young riders, Damien Guthrie riding Boss Your Uncle.
These two, an 8-year-old Bay Gelding, they've looked very comfortable in some shows already this year, and Bob's Your Uncle going very well for Damien.
Yes, I must stand corrected. The Boss Your Uncle was the information we were given this morning, but it'd be more logical, I think, to be Bob, as Bob knocks down a rail at fence 3.
And he's taken down the first part of that double as well. Got a long run up to 6. Takes that, a vertical. The pole is still rolling in it, but it stayed there. Now to that number 7 fence. And that's the one that is going to frighten a few riders. It has already done, and frighten a few more. Fence number 7 on the course.
Well, there was just a big reach there on that fence for Damien and Bob. Over the treble safely, however.
Yeah, they were comfortable over that. Now to another vertical. Just standing at 140. Now to the wall fence. Turns and comes back down. The last 2, dead straight run, if that's the way he wants to set the horse up, and he does. Clean it out over the last.
So, Damien Guthrie and his mount, Bob's Your Uncle. Gail Powell riding Yabba Dabba Doo for the Phillies, and he Yabba Dabba Dooed over that first fence, so not a great start. He looks like a very flighty kind of horse. I saw him this morning in the warm-up area.
Yes, a very flighty sort of an animal, Yabba Dabba Doo, and Gail will have to settle Yabba Dabba Doo, 10-year-old, and was totally rejected when no one wanted this one when Gail bought him. And I would hate to tell you the price she paid for him. I think it was $500. She doesn't mind me telling you that. But she said at the time I bought him because if it was no good, then I could have always sold him on. For $500, I would have easily got a buyer. But Yabba Dabba Doo has done a great deal for Gail Powell in the show jumping arenas around Australia. Doing well there. Let's see what she does with the treble.
Oh, the fast approach on that first part. And she has the rail down.
Yeah, Yabba Dabba Doo is inclined to jump a bit to the left, but Gail will straighten that out. Just have to allow ground for that. And that's what brought the combination undone at that first part of the treble. Now to the final two. Right down the line and finishes.
Oh, and the final rail there on that last fence just rolling, but it stays up. So quite a good round for Gail Powell and Yabba Dabba Doo, the fillies. Jenny Parlivet for the Olympic team, and she's riding another flat, her only mount here at the Champions Challenge. Each of the other competitors having two horses, but she had a late withdrawal, so this is her only horse, so she'll need to take this carefully, keep him fresh, because there are still two more events to come after this.
Yeah, but he's a very good 11-year-old, brown gelding, and done very well for her in Canberra for the second down in the World Cup qualifier down there in 95, and I remember seeing her finishing sixth at the Queen Elizabeth at Hickstead in England, and that was a magnificent performance when you think she was up against every competitor that you could think of in the world, from America, Canada, and all over Europe. So she did very well. She's going pretty well here.
Of course, barely needs any introduction, part of the Roycroft dynasty in show jumping around the world and in Australia. Very, very experienced. And jumping nicely here.
Down to this line. Got over that one very nicely as well. So Jenny comes back to fence number 11.
I think I've just made Jenny part of the Roycroft family. In fact, Jenny Parlivet, excuse me. Jenny and Vicky, both riding for the Olympic team.
And both looking very alike when they're wearing those red jerseys as well. She does very well.
Fantastic round for Jenny Parlivet. And the crowd appreciate that effort, gives them a wave. So, clear round. 97.34 was the time for Jenny Parlivet. For the fillies team, it's Colleen Book, the captain, riding Top Flight. And certainly a top flight competitor, seasoned campaigner Colleen Book.
Yes, indeed. The horse Top Flight is a 12-year-old mare, and Colleen has had her for 2.5 years out of an Australian stock horse. And she's going very well for Colleen. Colleen's very pleased with the way Top Flight is going at the moment. Just takes a little pull there, gets the horse set. You can see the horse was in two minds going into that fence and just got away by jumping it. But that's very nice training and coaching at home by Colleen to get a horse to be able to do that.
Just seems to be taking a really good look at each of the jumps as he goes over and over the double. But he's successful so far.
I know she's going to take her up to the top. And this one, the tricky little fence number 7. Big on one side, low on the other side, and Colleen was wise there. She went on the low side. That's exactly what a whole lot of people would have done. Just takes a little pull again, brings her back. Now let's see what the mare does when she handles this treble. Got close to the first part, cleared the second part, 1.5 strides into the third, and that was nice. That was very comfortable. Horse tucked right up to get over that last bit. Done it well. Out over 10. And now it's back into the center to take these two fences. That will take her right down to the last two. This one, she's got to straighten it up. She does. This mare is really jumping well for her. Oh.
Fantastic. Clear round, Colleen Book and Top Flight. The second last one there, he just stopped a little bit, popped over. So the fillies, great effort from Colleen Book, a bit of a smile on her face, but plenty still to go. Let's have a look at the final couple of jumps as she approaches the big yellow fence.
This mare was delightful. She gave everything here. She stood off a few, but righted herself with great assistance from Colleen on the back. And she's just beautiful. She's jumping. She's reaching for everything.
For the Colts team, the captain, George Senna on Nonix Le Pas.
Yes, a very nice horse, this 8-year-old thoroughbred chestnut gelding, owned by Mrs. Melissa Asimos. And George has won quite a few events this year on this 8-year-old. Goes very well for George.
A veteran of the 1984 and 88 Olympics and the 84, 90 and 93 World Cup finals, and won the Australian National Championships in 1990, George Senna.
And has ridden in 10 Nation Cups for Australia, I can tell you. And they're going very well, this combination, Bridget. They're a delight to watch, and I think what we should do is allow the pictures to tell their own story for you at home. Magnificent combination, and this type of event is really made for George Senna and this horse, Onyx Lepak.
George is also the New South Wales state coach, so plenty of experience under his belt.
Now let's see how he sets him up for the treble. Got a bit flat into that, but got away with it. Lifted him up for the second part and well out over the third part. This horse is really going well for George Senna.
Gave that a bit of a knock. Stayed in though.
It stayed there, and it wasn't the commentator's curse. Did you notice that? I said it was going well and nothing happened. Now he's got 2 to go. This looks like a very good round for George. 2 to jump. Cleared that one. Now to the final fence. Oh, beautiful round. That's a beautiful round for George.
Steady, and the hands of experience for George Senna and Onyx Lepak. Clear, clean round. The Colt. Vicky Roycroft on True Colours for the Olympic team.
Vicky has had some great horses over the years. I remember Mickey Mouse was one of the great horses that she had, and jumped all over the world with Mickey Mouse. But this one, True Colours, another great horse that she's had. This one is an 18-year-old, competed in Europe from March to September of this year. So she was in Aachen and Belgium and Geneva, because I got in results from there, so I know she was doing well.
Yes, you mentioned Mickey Mouse. She has done a lot on him. Unfortunately, I recall the Barcelona Olympics, she had to pull out at the last moment.
That's right, here she is.
Injured.
Down to this double, nicely done. And done the second part. True Colours going well for Vicky Roycroft. Now to fence number 6. It'll be interesting to see where she places him for fence number 7. Will she go wide for... she's gone very wide for fence number 8. That big oxer takes a big jump because it's 140 in spread, and then she's got the line up for the treble. She does. You're getting a great view of this from home, right over the top of it. Clear the last part. Oh, that's a nice jump. True Colours going very well for Vicky Roycroft. Down to fence number 10, vertical. Oh, she got in close to that, too close. And I actually think that True Colours brought it down with its chest.
So approaching the final 2, just the 1 rail down so far for Vicky Roycroft.
Took a nice position coming off the second last and into the last and well out over that.
So True Colours performing well for the Olympic team. Vicky Roycroft, just the 4 jumping penalties and no time penalties. So the second round of the Grand Prix class involves the top 6 riders who have come through from the first round. The first competitor, Russell Johnson, on take 2. In fact, 3 of the Olympic team have come through to this second round, so their experience showing out here.
Yes, indeed. Of course, here, Bridget, they have a different course. The fences, some of them have been raised in height, and it's a shorter course, and this is all against the clock. They got 62 seconds to get around here, and that's the first part of a double now that was a treble. He's knocked that down, so that's going to be 4 faults added onto his time out over that big oxer across the middle of the arena. As you can see, there's a long run to that fence. Got very close to the pole on that, but it stayed there. Now he's got down the last 2, coming into the last one. That should be a pretty good time, taking down the last one. That's a very good time. He's taken down 2 fences, so that'll be added on to his time.
Elizabeth Grender on Flying High, the only filly represented in this Grand Prix jump-off.
Greta Blake, OG Flying High.
Now Elizabeth Grender. And as we said, a very different course and a lot of running in this one. Horse will come off a fence and have a lot of ground to cover to get to the next fence. Oh, Elizabeth's taken that one down.
Oh, foot come out of the stirrup there, and right out of the saddle.
She's lost her pedal. She's got it back again.
And a bit of a grimace on the face of Elizabeth Grender. She comes through to the double, and that's really upset her. So 2 fences down. Plus, she'll carry through the jumping faults that she incurred in the first round.
Cleared that one. Just a bit unfortunate. Lost the stirrup as she cleared that fence, and then the horse was running on, no control, until Elizabeth could find the pedal again.
She should still be inside the 62 seconds allowed in total, and just settling the horse down a little bit there. Flying High, 54.05 the total time.
Let's take a look and see if we can notice what went wrong here. She got into it and rolled it with the front leg. Didn't come up high enough, and there you can see she's lost her stirrup, and the horse is now running on, no control, and she came clean out right up the horse's neck.
And 8 jumping faults in that round for a total of 12 for Elizabeth Grender.
She was lucky to stay on there.
Vicky Roycroft, the captain of the Olympic team, on True Colours.
I'll tell you, Vicky will know all the angles here. She's cut that one. Now coming back for the first part of this double. Got close to it, rattled it, got away with it.
Well, it's certainly an advantage to go in the second part of the field, because you know what you've got to do.
Exactly.
And she's clear already.
Oh, because you have a long run from that second to the next fence, you know, you're inclined to get in right underneath it. She did, but got away with it. Now down to the last. That is a very fast time. That is a very fast time.
She shows just about every fence going round there. Went round in just under 40 seconds. So tremendous effort from Vicky Roycroft and True Colours. A total of 4 jumping faults. So that puts her in a great position. Well, her teammate has set the pace here. Jenny Parlevet on another flood. The third of the Olympic competitors in this jump-off, and not a great start there.
Now that one went and got close to the next one. But now to the double. Got close to them as well, but got away with it. Oh, the 11-year-old pulled the back pole out of that. Got close to the top rail on that one as well. So after a magnificent earlier round from another flood, a bit lucky here.
And clear on the last, Jenny Parlevet. Still under the 62 seconds allowed, well under, but those fences down means that she can't win from here, especially with that run from Vicky Roycroft. Jenny with a total of 8 jumping faults. Fairly interesting looking headgear there for Colleen Brook and Top Flight. Just to keep a bit of the noise and distractions out of the horse's ears.
And the wind as well, but Top Flight looking around, very attentive to everything that's going on. A 12-year-old mare. She's a delightful servant to Colleen. They've won a great deal of money and competitions in the 2.5 years they've been together.
Well, Elizabeth Grender for the Phillies team didn't have such a good round, so Colleen waiting for the bell, and she's away. Colleen will need to go well here to keep up the Phillies.
Yeah, the riders are very aware of what happens in the arena. They want to know everything that's going on. Did the bell go? Am I allowed to go? Because if you go before the bell, you're eliminated. Now she's got over that first fence. And I think you can read Colleen's mind. She is going to go for a clear round here. She knows that she can do the time, I think. She's cleared the first part of that double, second part. Now down here to take this Oxer. Nicely over that. Nice jump. The crowd encouraging her here at the Concord Oval. Long run to the next. Stood well back from that and nice jump. 2 to go for Colleen Brooks.
And the crowd right behind her. Just one more.
Down to the last.
Pushes him hard to and over.
Yes.
Clear round. Colleen Brooks, 39.77. Big smile on her face. And top flight. He looked a picture before he went into this round, and a great effort from he and Colleen Brooks. And a clear round.
Oh, yes, she went well and then set herself up for the last two coming right down the line here. You viewers at home can take a look at this. You can actually be right on her back as she takes this horse over the last. Oh, beautiful jumping.
So the final rider in this Grand Prix competition, George Stanner on Nonix Le Parc. And as Colleen Brooks set him something to do, she's currently in the lead. This is the final rider. Really, you couldn't ask for a better position than George's because he knows what he has to do. It's go clear and it's go around quick.
And you couldn't ask for two greater competitors in the arena than Colleen Brooks and this man, George Stanner. George turns very quick. He did take a very quick pull there, turned the horse around and gets over the first part, over the second part of the double. Now to this Oxford. Takes a little bit of a pull. Now it's got the horse to run on here. Run on, a long run up to the next fence. Clears that. Now a sharp turn again and got to come back. Set the horse for the second last and then down to the last. Cleared that. He's up on the clock at the moment. Into the last. Clear on that. Got close to it.
Well, that's come very, very close to Colleen Brooks' time. 39.61. And with that, George Stanner takes it out. Well, he jumped last and he did everything he had to. George Stanner and Nonix Le Parc for the Colts team. Great effort from him.
Well, amongst the crowd enjoying the action today have been two of Australia's best-known equestrian faces after the Atlanta Olympics gold medal winning effort, and Wendy Schaefer and Gillian Rolton. Wendy, at just 21, it really must have been a dream come true, Atlanta.
Yeah, certainly Atlanta was a fairy tale story for me. My horse and I had been together for 10 years since the Pony Club days, and somehow had risen to become the best in the world on our day, so it was a dream come true for me, definitely.
What was that like to be able to compete on a horse that you virtually have grown up with?
Well, certainly we know each other very well. I feel I owe him a lot, actually, but certainly we know each other very well. We've competed together internationally for the last 3 years together, and we're just best friends, and I really love him.
Gillian, for you, extra special to have that back-to-back gold in Atlanta?
Oh, it's fantastic to be there on the same horse at both Olympic Games. It's pretty special to get a horse to one Olympic Games, and to get a horse to 2 Olympic Games and then come out with 2 gold medals was sensational. To be part of the team with these guys who did such a great job was unbelievable, and for my brave horse to carry me around when I'd done the damage, he was very, very, very good.
Because really for both of you it was a case of the walking wounded Wendy with the broken leg, and Gillian, a remarkable effort in the cross-country for you with the broken collarbone.
Yeah, I guess you're so full of adrenaline and you're so switched on to getting through those finish flags no matter what. Nothing was going to stop me as long as Fred was okay, and Fred was fine. He had gravel rash, I had the busted bones, so we kept going.
And after 4 of 6 events in this Champions Challenge, the Grand Prix event points have been tallied on overall team performance, with the fillies currently leading on 14, neck and neck for second between Olympic and the young riders, and the Colts on 10 points.
So with just 2 points in it, next up we have the team power and speed event, where the course is divided into a power section and a speed section. Riders will contest the course in pairs, with one taking on the power section where time and jumping penalties can be incurred, the other jumping purely against the clock. To fill us in on more, once again, here's Bridget Tilley and Colin Turner.
This event is really where teamwork plays a crucial role, because riders have to work out which horses they'll commit to the power section of the course and which to the speed. 2 riders on the course at the same time. And first up, we've got the young riders, Melissa Frosch on the speed section and Edwina Alexander on the power.
Section built by the designer at 135 1/4 meters, all of the fences there, and he's dropped them down a little bit for the speed class at 120 and 130.
So any power faults incurred by Edwina on Beltram will be converted to time penalties, and one rail down equals 4-second time penalties.
So she'll head up to the top of the arena, and this is the power section, and it's going to ask a fair bit of horse and rider here, because the fences, the way that he has built them, they go up gradually from 135 up to 140. There's actually one fence out there, and I think it's at 142. So let's see what Edwina does. Well, the horse didn't like to look at that. Now to the curly wall down there, got away with that.
And Melissa Frosch just getting ready her speed section as Edwina pops over that fence on Beltram. A very powerful looking horse, so they certainly made the right selection here.
Yes, the 13-year-old stallion doing very well for Edwina out there. Got very close to that one, but that's gone up to 142 meters. Now it's up to right to the finish.
Melissa takes off now. If you wanted a speed sort of rider, you've got it here. Little Alcona, I should say, has done fantastically well.
This is called hold on to your seat, Bridget. She's got to go for it. She's got to make up the time now.
She's incurred the one penalty so far with 4 seconds after Edwina went clear.
Fence 12, 13, out over that. And that was a good round by the two of them.
Yes, so 28.35 for the first pairing, the young riders, Melissa Frosch and Edwina Alexander, and they just had that one rail down. The second pairing in this event, the Team Power and Speed, Elizabeth Grender on Flying High. She'll complete the power section of the course. Her partner will be Gail Powell on Yabba Dabba Doo.
Yes, indeed, Elizabeth Grender with Flying High, and this is the power section. The 12-year-old has won big Grand Prix in Adelaide and Melbourne, and will be well used to this type of a course where all the fences are between 135 and 140. This one at 140, 1 meter 40, well out over that. And the viewers at home watching us on ABC, we can tell you that it doesn't matter about the clock here. It's all about jumping and having a clean round here over these power fences. The clock comes into operation when Elizabeth is finished and Gail will take over. And then it's time to hold on to your seats, because Gail will really have a go, I can tell you, Bridget.
Any jumping faults incurred here by Elizabeth will take 4-second penalty, and here we go. Gail Powell and Yabba Dabba Doo. Well, she won't be putting any brakes on here.
No way, not Gail Powell. She's racing down to this side to take the first part of that double in at that. Stood well off it, but got clear, and that's nicely jumped. She takes a very, very quick turn. Oh, exactly as she was going in and got away with it. Another tight turn into that one and got away with it. That's magnificent jumping.
How tight did she take that fence number 12? 27.57, and a smile from her. None down for Gail Powell and Liz Grender from the Phillies team. For the Colts team, it's George Sanner on Mr. Dundee, and this man, Jeremy Inglis, on Southern Jester. So Jeremy will contest the power section of the course.
That's an interesting choice, actually, Bridget, that they should leave Jeremy go with this 6-year-old B grade, warm blood gelding, Southern Jester. Nice horse, but taking the power section, I would have thought that he was built a little bit more for speed. But this is the tactics, because in this event, the Champions Challenge, it's all about team efforts.
And this particular event, the Team Power and Speed, that tactical approach all the more important, dividing up which horses will go well over the power section and which will go well over the speed section.
Could actually win the event for you, the whole of the competition, the decisions that they make here.
This is also a crucial round for the Colts, because they're sagging a little on overall. They're currently 10 points on overall standings, and that's in 4th place. So this is an opportunity for them to pick up some valuable points.
Jeremy and Southern just got a bit close to that, but now down to this one to allow George to take over, and they both go through the finish and start line together. Now George has to have a flyer around here, going pretty well, but oh well, he nearly stepped over that fence. He's got to come back for the double. There's a nice actually run into the double. Good clean jumping over those two. A very, very quick turn again. Back over that one, now to this little wall fence. Pops over that and through the finish line. That's a magnificent time by those two.
Well, George Sanner, he looked relaxed, but the speed was almost deceiving there as he took Mr. Dundee around the course, and that will put them into the lead, 27.52.
Oh, George had set himself up here, as you can see, down to the last two, got close to them, and magnificent jumping by him here, and he knew where the finish line was, got through that. Great jumping.
The Olympic pairing of Jenny Parlivet and Vicky Roycroft, the 4th pair in this team, Power and Speed, and Jenny on another flood will take the power section of the course.
It'll be interesting here, Bridget, to see what Jenny will do, because with this horse, another flood 11-year-old, nice power jumping horse, and she'll do very well here. She's taking it slow and is going to leave it all up to Vicky, who can really take the brakes off when it's needed.
The Colts currently leading this section of the competition with time of 27.52. And Jenny just going around very smoothly now.
Yes, they're big fences out there. They're all between 135 and 140 meters. So it's asking a fair bit of the horse to jump sort of 4'9", 4'6" fences, 5 feet fences. And now she's got to come down this side of the arena. But Jenny and Vicky, two very experienced riders that we have in the country, come to the last. And the two of them, oh, she's got that down. That's a pity.
Yes, that's a shame.
That horse didn't want to jump at all. Silky Oak didn't want to take off at all for Vicky there. And that was great riding by Vicky to get the 8-year-old mare back jumping for her.
Each rail down will incur a 4-second time penalty, as I mentioned, so 8 seconds off their time so far. In fact, added on to their time.
See, the horse is inclined to slip a little bit, unsure of his footing. The Silky Oak out there. Vicky up to the last. Rattled that, it rolled in the cups, but it stayed there.
And the clock stopped at 32:30 for Jenny Parlivet and Vicky Roycroft from the Olympic team, but they also incurred those jumping penalties, so not a bad round for them, but they'll look to come back in the next event. And the young riders are back again. The men this time, Damien Guthrie on Bob Duruncle. He'll go through the power section, and James Patterson Robinson to complete the speed section.
Yes, this is going to be an interesting pairing. These two young riders out here. Let's see what they can do. They know already that they've got to go clear in the power section. You can see the horse doesn't want to know about that fence. I was wondering about the colors, whether they were the distraction, but this is all going to cost them a fair bit.
No, he definitely doesn't like it. Bob's your uncle.
He did act up a little bit earlier on, didn't he, Bridget?
And subsequently has the rail down, so that will be 4 seconds added on to their overall time.
And that's not a good start for Damien with AP options.
Yes, in fact, we thought it was Bob Duruncle, so Bob Duruncle's probably calmly sitting out in the back in the warm-up arena.
The 6-year-old, a little bit headstrong, maybe a bit excited.
And flying through is Tabara Sundance, the little mare. On board, James Patterson Robinson. He wants to make a spectacle of this event.
He's going to have a crack, but he's knocked one down. This is Pony Club stuff. Into the first part of the double, into the second part, clear on that. Now got to take a very, very quick turn. He did. Got too close to it. Way too close to it. And even got too close to that last part. He's got to take back. But at least they made a crack at it.
You can see the smile there on his face. I mean, they had a go. That was the important thing, and the crowd absolutely loved it as James takes off there. Tabara Sundance still wants to go round. Chrissy Harris for the fillies has teamed up with Waltzing Matilda for the power section of the course. Colleen Brooke, riding Rockin' Eddie, will take on the speed section.
But this shouldn't be a problem. The course, even though, as I said, it is a difficult course, 135, 140 meters, all of the fences, it shouldn't be a difficult course for Waltzing Matilda. She's an 8-year-old mare, stands at 16.2, and quietly ridden by Chrissy. Well out over that fence. So she started very well with this horse. She's taking it very nice, got well in under that and rattled it a bit. Now she's coming down this end of the arena.
The final fence, and Colleen Brooke will take the tag. So a test here for Colleen.
Well, it won't be so much of a test for her, Bridget, but she's going to take her time about it, because even though this is called speed, once they've had a clear on the power, Colleen can take it easy here. She did over the first part of that double. The second part, I see she's run a little bit wider, giving the horse a little bit more scope to get in at that, and that was nicely done. And done the same with the last part, and you see they've done it. That's a magnificent effort from the two of them.
Took that last fence on a great angle, 27.58 the total time for Colleen Brooke and the fillies team. And the green shirts of Andrew Inglis and John Fay for the Colts team. Andrew on screen riding Close Encounters in the power section. John Fay will be riding Tony Barlow Lewis in the speed.
Yeah, Andrew Inglis, now 34 years of age, comes from Wyong, and jumping the power section on Close Encounters. And this is another very good combination that will take it very steady, Bridget. And what Andrew Inglis was hoping to do is he's going to set her up for John Fay and the Tony Barlow Lewis horse.
Well, George Sanna and Jeremy Inglis, the other pair in this Colts team, also set them up nicely. They went round in 27.52. In fact, currently equal first with the fillies on exactly the same time. So it's quite amazing.
So you see Andrew here is spot on with his measurement. He's just got the horse in there right underneath them and pulled them up. Didn't pull it up too good at the last one because he rattled it, but now he's got to the last one for him and cleared. And here's John Fay.
On Tony Barlow Lewis, and Mr. Experience, you couldn't want a better rider. He cleared that one by about 6 feet.
The crowd are getting excited here at Concord Oval, but I'll tell you, he's not excited on the back. He's taken that one down, but he'll still race on. The horse again slips. Oh, that was beautiful jumping by the horse. And they got down to the last thing clear.
Incredible. The cat leave over number 12 after he slipped, unfortunately. A time of 26.75, but John had that rail down.
There he goes into it again. Here's a close-up. You can see, look, the horse's legs slipped away from under him. But that's very good jumping and very good riding. Ah, incredible jumping.
The final pairing for this team power and speed event. The Olympians, Russell Johnson and David Cooper. Russell riding Southern Eagle in the power section of the course. And, of course, David will follow him in the speed section.
Yes, Southern Eagle, a thoroughbred 8-year-old, and they won at the Barossa Horse of the Year show, and he's also won 2 good grades recently in the Geelong show. And it's going to be Russell Johnson, the first to go over this power fence. And here he goes. They know exactly what they have to do here. They have to go clear on that power so that they don't have anything to carry over into the speed section. And then when it comes to the speed section, David Cooper can take the brakes off and really have a go. Down to this fence. Nice camera view of the horse and rider, how they jumped that, how they lined themselves up for the fence. Good jumping by Russell Johnson and Southern Eagle. Now turns back, takes that one.
The sun just comes out again on Concord Oval. It's been quite bright, a perfect day for jumping today.
Got very close to that part. Now to the last one for him in the power and speed. Power, he's cleared. Now it's the speed.
Now it's Cooper on Twister, the final competitor in this team power and speed event.
Now just see where he'll make up time on the clock. He's got to make it up there. He's run one pace too many over there to get back in. He's steady down for the double. He's cleared that, cleared the second part now. He's run a bit wide on this one where everyone else was slipping, but he's done well. He stood away off of that and got clear. And to the last, and out over that as well.
David Cooper and Russell Johnson for the Olympic team, 28.56.
Well, it's just one event to go. We have Vicky Roycroft of the Olympic team and Colleen Brooke of the leading team at the moment, the Phillies. How are you feeling going into this last knockout stage?
Well, having been to the games, it's a bit of a different thing, so I don't see our chances being too great, as long as we don't finish last. That's my only concern.
Colleen, it's been a pretty good performance by your team today.
Yes, it's been great, and with these knockouts, anything can happen, so I wouldn't be too sure who I'd bet on, really.
Overall today, it's been a novel format with 6 very different types of disciplines. How have you enjoyed it overall?
Oh, it's been good. It's a nice change and no dust, and it's been really good. Enjoyed it.
And Vicky, you're first up, I gather, in the knockout.
Oh, just to add to my woes, but, you know, it's a bit of fun. Anything can happen in these sort of classes. Either you leave them up or you knock them down.
So what approach are you going to be taking, Colleen?
Oh, I'm trying to win, no doubt about that.
Going into the final class in the Champions Challenge, the Phillies have made a charge. After collecting the maximum 6 points in the team power and speed, they're now on a total of 20. In equal second on 14 apiece, it's the Colts and the Olympians, and the Young Riders currently fourth on 12 points. But still, a very exciting knockout round to come.
To the final discipline of this championship now, what's known as the knockout stakes, where 2 riders from opposing teams take on a mirror image course at exactly the same time. The fastest riders from each round will progress to the next until it comes down to just the final 2. It's always a crowd pleaser, and remember that every winning round contributes to that team's final point score.
Yes, they've saved the best till last here, Karen, at the Champions Challenge. Spectators couldn't ask for a more exciting event. It's all or nothing. 2 competitors racing the clock and racing each other at the same time. The loser eliminated. And Colin Turner, what should we expect here?
Well, you've got 8 obstacles to jump, identical courses, as you say, and it'll be breaks off. They'll just have to go for it. And, of course, the teams dragging behind will have to pull up, won't they?
The round of 8 now in this knockout stakes, the final class in the Champions Challenge. Vicky Roycroft, the captain of the Olympic team, on your left, a smile on her face, riding Silky Oak, and young Damien Guthrie on Bob's Your Uncle for the Young Riders. And the crowd here, they're working out their allegiances.
I think they're evenly divided, but I'll tell you what, there'll be a big smile on Damien Guthrie's face after this, because this is going to be a great challenge. He will look forward to taking on Vicky.
So they'll go through this mirror course. Vicky taking it easily there. We can see on the split screen as each rider approaches each different fence. Vicky just slightly behind.
Yes, Damien on Bob's Your Uncle is well up and well ahead of her, and he's just got to pray now that he doesn't take anything down. Comes to the first part of the double, clears that, clears the second part, and Vicky has taken the top rail out of the last part of the double. So she'll really have to go. She's taking it very steady, and she's looked across, taken a quick look across the course, and she sees young Damien up ahead of her. He's going to be very sure, very safe, and very clear.
Yes, Damien needed only to go steadily over the last part of that course. He saw that Vicky Roycroft had a rail down, and he goes through to the Well, these two have met plenty of times before in show jumping competitions. George Stanner, the captain of the Colts team, in the green, riding Mr. Dundee, and he's up against Colleen Brooke for the fillies. Rockin' Eddie is her mount.
I think Colleen Brooke has the bigger supporter group here, a big support for her. Seems they are. Maybe they're just the noisiest, Bridget.
They're tossing the coin, or they have tossed the coin, to see which side of this mirror image course the rider will take. And Colleen, bit of boxing going on there.
She was trying to steal a march on George there. She actually did in the end. I think Colleen got a little bit up on George, and she cleared that first fraction of a second ahead of George as they race up to the top of the ring. You can see them on your split screen. Identical course of them to jump and identical obstacles. And it looks as if Colleen is up into that first part of the double, into the second part. George has had the second part down, so he's now got to go a little bit. Colleen has got another one down. She's got one, so they both have one down.
Lining up for a great finish here as they come round to the final two.
Colleen has the second one down. George can take it easy going over the last. Oh, no, they both had two down.
Well, I think it'll be George that will go through, or in fact they're indicating to Colleen. No, it is George Stanner as we see that very exciting finish. The final two fences each rider had to complete. Next competitors, Russell Johnson riding Take Two for the Olympic team, the grey, and he's up against Edwina Alexander on Samsara. And the great thing about this competition, it's the last competition in the Champions Challenge. The riders and the crowd equally having a fantastic time.
Oh, they're loving it. Everyone out there is just really enjoying this. And we can tell you, Edwina has had the first down. Russell is taking it steady. He looked back at that one, but it was there. He got close to it. And Edwina has really taken the brakes off. She's got to go for it here.
She's over the double before he's even approached it.
Yeah, she's way up on the clock. If she can have a stay, she's knocked another one out. So he can now take it easy. Oh, he's taken one down. So the pressure is now on Edwina to come down the line. She's coming down the line. Russell is clearing that. She just got in. He's taken that one down.
Edwina will go through because they had an equal amount of jumping faults. She nearly missed the finish line as she came through, as happened in the first round. Maybe it's something about Samsara and that finish line. So really, there was no pressure there on Russell Johnson, but he had the last down. Edwina Alexander going through.
Let's take a look at them as they came down to the last couple of fences here. Edwina looked as if she was out of it after taking that one out, and then suddenly she's through the finish line, and here is Russell. He's struggling a bit, and now he comes down to the last. All he's got to do is jump this and go clear, and down it comes.
So the final two competitors in this round of 8, Melissa Frosch on a Kona, the captain of the Young Riders, and up against her, Gail Powell. She's riding Rockstar. Just making their way to the start line now. There's Gail. This should be a fantastic jump.
It's interesting that Gail has drawn to go on the course that's going to take her away on the right of your screen. And she can't go through, and she hasn't gone through the start line. And while she has, we can tell you that Melissa has taken the first one down. And now Gail Powell is away. She's away behind on the clock. She's just got to hope to have it clear. Now she's taken one out as well.
Well, she didn't get off to a great start. Riders must pass through that start-finish line, and she went off to the left.
Well, Melissa Frosch is going very well, and while she's doing that, Gail has had another one down with Rockstar. She's taken another one down. Now they're coming down to the last, and you can see that Melissa Frosch is away ahead. Here's Gail coming in behind her. But that's a very good round by the 19-year-old Melissa Frosch.
Yes, Melissa Frosch from the Young Riders going through to the semi-final, giving her Kona a big pat on the neck, and really Gail Powell, well, nothing short of a disaster for her right from the very beginning. So it all comes down to 4 riders. The first two, Damien Guthrie in the pink for the Young Riders on Bob's Your Uncle. He's up against George Stanner, Mr. Dundee, his mount. And just waiting for the starter.
It'll be interesting here, Bridget, because Damien Guthrie has the advantage. He's been down this side of the track already, and he's had the first one down. So George is going for a steady clear round here on Mr. Dundee, and they get over that second obstacle together. But one down for Damien as they come down to the first part of the double. They both clear on that. If anything, Damien's a little bit up, but he's had one down.
Yes,
so
George Santa's still clear. We come round to the final two fences, so if they clear here, George Santa will go through.
Yes, George will go through.
So although Damien Guthrie crossed the line first, he had that fence down, so the cool collector George Santa goes through to the final. Two young riders up against each other in the second semi-final. Edwina Alexander riding Samsara, and her opposition, her captain, Melissa Frosch, riding a Kona. But not such a bad thing to have two young riders against each other, because they accumulate 2 points every time they go round.
Yes, indeed, but the parting of the ways here, one of them wants to get through to that final. They both jump to start, getting a bit anxious down there.
And it smiles all round. You can see Edwina's teeth glowing from here as they get to go ahead.
And we can follow them on your split screen, and you can at home. And as you can see, it was Edwina had one down already. Melissa is well up on the other riders as they turn to take that next fence. Now they're both racing into the double. Edwina has had the first part of the double down, while Melissa on the other side has gone clear so far. Up over that now, down to the last, but Edwina has had two down.
Yes, Melissa has to take it carefully here. Just the final two to get over, and Edwina's had another down. So it's the captain who wins, 19-year-old Melissa Frosch. She'll go through to the final of the knockout stakes, and she'll be up against George Santa. Fantastic final coming your way.
Well, we can take a look in replay of the problems that Edwina had there. You can see she dragged the second part of the double out and then slipped on the way around the corner. But some brilliant jumping on the other side by this young lady, and it's going to be a cracker of a final. Is Melissa Frosch on Ancona, and beautiful jumping from this combination.
The final event in the knockout stakes. George Santa, the captain of the Colts team, 43-year-old riding Mr. Dundee, and his opponent, the captain of the young riders, Melissa Frosch, 19 years old, riding the grey mare Ancona. And the toss of the coin here will be all important.
Very, very important, and George already is pointing out one or two things. He wants the top rail rolled back into the cups.
George has already been down the course on the left-hand side of the arena twice, so that would be his preferred course. Just checking here, it looks like he may be, in fact, taking the right-hand side.
It looks like that, but he was also making sure that the rail was back in the cups. He didn't want any disasters, and that's clever riding by the man. If anything is wrong, it's got to be put right.
Again, the crowd just working out who they're
going to support. Well, they're away in the final, and again, Melissa gets a magnificent start, but George has now started to go a little bit. He didn't go on Mr. Dundee earlier on, but we can tell you that Melissa is up on him going into the next fence. They're both in the air together. The first part of the double, George has taken it down. Now, Melissa, of course, doesn't know this, and she's really going for it. She's clear on that one. George has taken another one down, but she can't see that. Maybe she does. Corner of the eye. Melissa coming down the last two. She's ahead of George. George has taken his foot off the pedal here because he knows he's beaten. And Melissa is the winner, and what a reception she gets.
Yes, 19-year-old Melissa Frosch, who said she'll be a star of the future. Great ride. And that horse Ancona has been performing for her all day. The captain of the young riders team, Melissa Frosch, taking out the knockout stakes. So despite that fantastic effort by young rider Melissa Frosch, her team couldn't quite peg back the fillies team. They finished on top with a total of 21. In equal second, the Colts and young riders, and in fourth place in the Champions Challenge, the Olympians.
Congratulations, a great effort.
Well, it was terrific because we've been hanging in there all day, you know. We're sort of right up there, and one class we didn't have such a good result in, but we just kept plugging away and we did it.
Liz, the young guns were certainly on fire in this last round, but good to hold on all the same.
Yes, it was. We were a little bit worried about them, but I think, as Colleen said, we were a little more consistent during the day, which kept us in there.
And Gail, extra special for you, your first big event after giving birth earlier this year.
Yes, I made it hard. I've only been riding for a few weeks, so this is only my third show. So I've got a 14-week-old baby up there in the stand watching, so it was great.
I'm sure applauding if he could. And Chrissy, how would you sum up today? Because it is a new type of event. Is it one that you think will be repeated?
Oh, I think so. We had a wonderful time. I think they'll probably change a few things, but it was great.
Congratulations to you all. Fantastic effort.
Thank you.
Colleen Book, the victorious captain of the Phillies team. The crowd has hung around for the presentation, along with Chrissy Harris, Gail Powell and Liz Grender. They take out the Champions Challenge 1996.
And that brings to a close our coverage of the Champions Challenge show jumping for 1996. Congratulations again to the Phillies team, captained by Colleen Brooke. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
Monday on ABC, a world premiere event streaming in Australia and the UK on the same day.
That's celebrity.
When a once-removed Duchess from the House of Windsor feels the heat from the House of Wax.
We are not amused.
But you will be when Ruby Wax meets the Duchess of York, 8 o'clock Monday.
Tonight on ABC, following the news, Nigel Hawthorne stars in the Barchester Chronicles. At 8:30, at the pinnacle of his power, Rhodes continues to exploit the growing conflict in South Africa. But will his plans be destroyed by an exotic princess? Don't miss the unforgettable conclusion to Rhodes. Then a profile of the remarkable Australian conductor Simone Young and Compass.
Tonight, a cruel joke reaction to the Prime Minister's pay rise offer. Outrage at scientific experiments being conducted on the Great Barrier Reef. And around the world in 264 days. Good evening, Angela Pearman with ABC News. The government will support an $8 a week increase in minimum rates for each of the next 3 years. The union movement has slammed the proposal as a cruel joke, but the Prime Minister says it shows the coalition is not indifferent to the low paid.
John Howard travelled to Geelong today for the Victorian Liberal Party's State Council. As far as the coalition's concerned, he was the bearer of good news.
And I'm pleased to announce today that the Commonwealth will be taking to the Industrial Relations Commission a proposal that over a 3-year period, an $8 a week increase for the low paid in our community be phased in.
Under the government's proposal, workers would receive the $8 a week increase in minimum rates for each of the next 3 years, taking the total increase to $24 a week. The increases will commence in March next year, but only apply to workers whose award rates are below the average weekly ordinary time earnings.
It gives the lie to those ridiculous claims still made by the Labor Party that we are indifferent to the interests of the low paid.
But that hasn't stopped Labor and the ACTU from criticising the government proposal. They say it's a cruel joke on struggling families, because while $8 a week sounds generous, the majority of workers will receive nothing.
It's a thoroughly miserable response, really, by the government. And for most people, this $8 a week increase will in fact be a real wage reduction. And anyone earning more than $400 a week will experience a real wage reduction.
Everybody will be going backwards. Most people will get nothing.
Employers aren't too happy either, warning of inflationary pressures.
Well, in a sense, any increase in wages that's not matched by a productivity adjustment is unacceptable and unfortunate.
And we're doing it in a way that won't exacerbate wage pressures and thereby threaten the very low level of inflation that we now have.
The Prime Minister says the government has now delivered a trifecta of lower interest rates, low inflation and safety net adjustments.
Parts of the Great Barrier Reef have been deliberately poisoned and others exploded in the cause of science. The revelation comes as the Senate prepares to debate another experiment scientists want to conduct on the marine park. Its aim, to destroy fish populations in 8 protected reefs so scientists can monitor how long they take to recover. Environment reporter Alan Tate.
The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park